Okay, so let's kick things off. We all kind of picture the Beatles in 1967, right? Lord Date Pepper, the studio shots, peak psychedelia.
Mm-hmm.
But try putting yourself in Brian Epstein's shoes for a second.
Mm.
Their manager. A band's just said, no more touring, ever. They vanished after years of just stadiums and screaming.
Right. Total withdrawal from live performance.
So how do you keep the biggest band on Earth in the public eye when they refuse to step on a stage? That's the problem, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's really our starting point here, this visibility crisis. They'd basically retreated into Abbey Road. I mean, making incredible music, obviously, but they were off the map, publicly speaking.
Yeah.
And the records, the sources we've looked at, they make it really clear Epstein felt this urgency. He needed something, well, something impactful to show the world, hey, the Beatles are still here, still making, really great music, still the Beatles.
Which, kind of amazingly, leads us to Sevenoaks. This quiet, very leafy, very Kent market town.
Doesn't exactly scream rock and roll history, does it?
Not at all. So our mission in this deep dive is to explore the sources that explain how this, well, unlikely spot became this crucible for music video history. We want to pull out the details about the art, the local chaos, and maybe some hidden creative sparks.
And it starts with a pretty bold move for 67. No tour. Okay, then a massive statement. A double A-side single.
A very aggressive tactic, yeah.
Definitely.
For anyone maybe not familiar with old vinyl, a double A-side basically meant both songs were pushed as hits.
Yeah.
Total chart domination was the goal.
And these weren't just any songs.
No way. We're talking Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, two absolute landmark tracks.
It's huge. And it was critical, the sources confirm this, that these songs had visuals to go with them, but not, just boring miming on a TV set.
Right, not top of the pop style.
No, they needed proper cinematic clips, things they could send out global. This was really kind of the birth of the promo film as, like, an art form in itself.
And Sevenoaks, that's where they filmed them, over 3 separate days.
That's right. The timeline's pretty clear. They were focused. First trip to Kent was January 30th and 31st, 1967. That was for Strawberry Fields Forever.
Okay.
Then they came back pretty quick, February 7th, to do the Penny Lane stuff.
And Knole Park, the main location.
Mm.
It really gives you a sense of the kind of surreal vibe they were going for, especially with Strawberry Fields.
Absolutely. Knole Park is this huge estate. It offered, well, privacy, or so they hoped, and that kind of grand, slightly weird, rustic beauty.
Yeah.
For Strawberry Fields, they specifically filmed in an area that's now, I believe, part of the golf course. And crucially, they brought in Peter Goldmann.
The director.
Yes, a Swedish director known for sort of pushing boundaries visually. He was hired to give these clips a real artistic, surreal edge, not just cheap promo filler.
And Goldmann's involvement is key, isn't it? It's why these are seen as so foundational. The Strawberry Fields clip, it had jump cuts, reversed film, wires. And that tree.
Ah, the tree.
That famous tree, which, according to Ian Hooper from the Beatles and Cat website, it's still there. Sort of.
Yeah, sort of. And the detail here is actually quite poignant. Hooper notes the actual tree they used, where John Lennon stood, where they ran the wires, is now, and this is a quote, just a stump.
Wow.
And there's no plaque, no official marking. He says he finds it quite sad, and you can see why. It's this little piece of rock history, music video history, just fading away in a park.
That's a really powerful image, isn't it? The stump that kind of supported the birth of the music video.
Yeah.
Wow. But, okay, the mood changed for the second shoot, the Penny Lane one, a week later.
It did, yeah. Deliberately so. Penny Lane was meant to be much more pastoral, lighthearted anyway, a real contrast to the sort of dark psychedelia of Strawberry Fields.
Right.
So for that one, you see them riding horses through this old stone archway near the estate's birdhouse, and there's that bit where they're having tea by a pond. Very English.
Very surreal in its own way, though. The biggest band in the world having a cuppa by a pond.
Exactly. It was playful, a bit bizarre, definitely not what fans were used to seeing from rock stars back then.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, I mean, was there any pushback from the band? Trading Shea Stadium for, riding ponies in a damp park in Kent.
Well, the sources seem to suggest they were actually okay with it, maybe even welcomed the change. They were genuinely tired of the whole live touring circus.
Right, the screaming crowds.
Yeah, all that. But filming in a quiet little town brought its own kind of chaos, just a bit more up close and personal.
Huh. Yeah, you can't just drop the Beatles into Sevenoaks, even for a few days, and expect things to stay quiet, can you? The local reaction, that's a whole other story.
Oh, it's fascinating. A real piece of social history, like you said. The chaos apparently kicked off almost straight away.
Really?
Yeah, our sources stress that maybe the first day started off okay, but word got out fast in that small community. The crowd just built up, and pretty soon the band was, quote, pretty much inundated with children.
I love the detail about the school kids. Sevenoaks School was literally just down the road.
Yeah.
And the news hit so hard that girls, apparently played truant, just skipped school to go hang out by the stone arch, hoping to see them.
Imagine being Peter Goldmann, the director. You're trying to get these controlled, artistic, slightly surreal shots.
Yeah, horses, pee parties.
Exactly, and you're dealing with the most famous people on the planet in a public park, suddenly surrounded by swarms of kids and local onlookers.
Total nightmare.
Must have been, relying on maybe a couple of local bobbies or park wardens, used to dealing with dog walkers, not Beatlemania.
It just shows the sheer scale of their fame then, doesn't it, even off stage? Like Ian Hooper says, it's a really important piece of social history because it proves that even though they'd stopped the stadium tours, they hadn't stopped being this massive global thing.
Precisely. The relationship with the fans had shifted. They'd stepped away from that immediate live performance chaos.
But the chaos just found them anyway.
It did, just in a different form. It's centered on the creation of this new visual content. It shows their strategy was kind of working. They controlled the film, the output, but they couldn't control that intense public desire just to be near them.
Yeah.
That whole move from live shows to media-driven visuals, you see it playing out right there in miniature in Kent.
But maybe the biggest thing Sevenoaks left its mark on wasn't actually the film reels. It was a song, a really famous one from Skeet Pepper. This is the real deep dive nugget, I think.
Yeah, this is a great story. And it really shows how just getting out of the studio bubble, being in a real place, could directly fuel Lennon's creativity.
So the story goes, during some downtime between takes, John Lennon wanders off in the Sevenoaks town center, finds a local antique shop.
Right.
And what's he looking for? Not guitars or fancy clothes. He's looking for, like, old paper? Ephemera.
Yeah.
And he finds this dusty old Victorian circus poster.
And that poster, well, it's basically history now. That specific poster he bought that day in Sevenoaks is pretty much accepted as the direct source, almost the blueprint, for the lyrics of Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite.
Incredible. You could just picture him, can't you? Back in his hotel room, maybe, away from the filming chaos, just looking at this faded poster.
Yeah.
Reading the names, Mr. Kite performing, Henderson's trampoline act, Henry the Horse dancing the waltz.
And basically lifting those phrases, those ideas straight onto the page, turning them into this amazing psychedelic track.
Yeah.
And it really highlights Lennon's songwriting method around the Stat Pepper time. The sources mention how he often sourced a lot of his lyrics from things he read. He was actively looking for these tangible found objects.
Like a collage artist, almost.
Sort of, yeah. He didn't always have to invent everything from scratch. He could grab bits from the world around him, whether it was a circus poster in Kent or, the back of a cornflakes box, and build something totally new and profound from it.
And that just sums up the whole Sevenoaks trip perfectly, doesn't it? They were deliberately pulling back from the world stage, retiring from touring.
Right.
But to do that, they had to engage with these small, ordinary bits of the world, like an antique shop. And that then feeds their most extraordinary, out-there conceptual work.
It loops right back to Brian Epstein needing that impact. This whole venture, going to Sevenoaks, getting a proper director, dealing with the crowds. It was all part of shifting the Beatles from being just pop stars performing live
to becoming these sophisticated studio and visual artists.
Exactly. These early promo films, these pop videos shot in Knole Park, they were the new way. Controlling their image, staying globally visible without ever having to physically be on a stage anywhere.
So when you pull it all together, this quiet town, two iconic songs, the schoolgirl skipping class, that slightly sad tree stump, a random circus poster, it really pins down that moment. The Beatles changed how music connected with the world.
It really does. They were essentially writing a new rulebook for music promotion right there, which I suppose leaves us with a final thought. A question for you, listening, to maybe mull over.
Okay.
Given that the Beatles had stopped touring and they threw their weight behind these short artistic films as their main way of being seen, did that calculated decision, played out right there in a park in Kent, accidentally kickstart the entire music video industry as we know it? Did it fundamentally change the relationship between bands and fans forever?